Hola amigos, buenos días. En este video voy a hablar de algo que es un problema para unos estudiantes. So I'm going to talk about something that can be an issue for some students. This probably doesn't apply to everybody, but there are definitely people out there that this happens to. So I want to kind of give you my input on this. This is a question that somebody asked me in one of my videos, and I thought I'd reply in video format so that everybody can hear my answer. So here's the question or comment. I know all of my vocabulary front and back. I am in Spanish 2, but the thing is, I took a Spanish 1 at a different school that used a totally different book, and I learned some things there that they did not teach at my new school, and my new school's Spanish 2 book is a continuation of their Spanish 1, and they taught some things I didn't learn in Spanish 1. So, what should I do to keep up? Because the teacher will throw in a word or phrase I have never seen or went over, and that will cause me to make a mistake in answering the question completely or right. But I looked ahead in the book, and I understand the next 3 chapters because I have already learned that. I just need help. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to give you my 5 recommendations if this is the situation you are in, because this does happen sometimes, and I want to make sure that everybody is prepared. So my first recommendation is that to ask your teacher if you are going to be held responsible for unknown vocabulary. If it were me, I would, if you're my student, I would say no. Like if we learned in Spanish 1 how to talk about sports and you didn't learn that at your school, I'm not going to give you a quiz and put a sport on there and require you to know that sport. So ideally your teacher would say, I'm not going to hold you responsible for it, but they will probably say that they will often reference vocabulary that they use in Spanish 1, and it would be helpful if you were to be somewhat familiar with that vocabulary. So you are in an unfortunate situation, and it's going to cause you to have to do a little bit more work if you want to stay on top of your game. So this brings me to my second recommendation. Ask your teacher for a packet, a group of handouts, whatever, that includes all of the vocabulary from the missed class or classes when you change schools. So for me, what I would have done is I would have copied the vocabulary page for each of the chapters that we went over in my Spanish 1 class. So this is going to be like 10 pages of vocabulary, which is going to be far more than you're going to be able to learn on top of the vocabulary that you're probably learning in your new class. So I'll give you that list. Once you have that list, if you can get it from your teacher, what I recommend is that you go through the list and cross off words that you already know, because there's a great likelihood that you probably learned some of the vocabulary in your Spanish 1 class that they taught in their Spanish 1 class. There's a good chance you didn't learn everything, but there's a good chance you probably learned I'd say at least half of it, if not more. So go through there, throw out the pages, or cross off the words that you already know. Once you've done that, I would say use whatever method you prefer to study the new words. So for me, I would do flashcards. I'd make flashcards for them and study them whenever I have a chance. And that would get you on the right track. And then lastly, using these new words that you haven't learned yet, I would try and use them in your in-class assignments. So like if you have the flashcards or the handouts that your teacher gave you, keep them with you so that you can use them in class or reference them maybe if he or she says something. And then also if you have a homework assignment where you have to talk about something, maybe you have to explain what you do at home or talk about what you did last weekend or something like that, try and use some of those words, especially the ones that are more challenging for you, because then you'll be more likely to remember them later on. So those are my 5 recommendations for a person that has changed schools, and is in a new Spanish class with a new environment, new teacher, new words. That's what I would do if I were you. I hope this answered your question. Good luck to you, and thanks for watching.